Hello and welcome back to My Artist Friend. I am your host, Becky Helms, and this is the podcast all about the artist behind the art. So first, I want to acknowledge that it has been a year since the podcast first came out. I started on 11/11 of 2024, and I started with a whole bunch of interviews with just some of my favorite people on the planet, all working artists doing very different things. And you should definitely scroll back through and listen to those. I learned pretty quickly how difficult editing interviews was. So I added more solo episodes, and then I went totally solo for a while, and then summer was super overwhelming and I took a break. So mostly it's been vlogs and my newsletter, but I want to try and do my podcast at least every other week. And I would like to incorporate more interviews into the podcast again, maybe once a month instead, because then I'd have a little bit more time to edit. But yeah, I'm so excited. It's been a year. I have learned so much, and starting this project led me to doing my newsletter again, and now it's led me to do more writing of newsletters and vlogs and a lot of creative things that I didn't really think I would ever do. And it's just been really fun, and I appreciate the podcast, and I can't believe it's been 1 year. So I just want to take a minute for that. And this week's episode is a Snart episode. So if you're unfamiliar with Snart, that is the combination of snack and art. I do this with my kid after school, and we started last year doing different themes for each month. So I stopped in July, which happened to be Christmas in July, just because the summer was wild and then I was getting my stuff together in the fall. But Snart is really fun. So I have links to all the other Snart episodes down below. And you should definitely check those out because it's a lot of really cool stuff. And in these episodes, I talk about artists that you can follow who do that particular type of art. I talk about books that you can check out from the library or find at a thrift store or just go by and support the artist that have to do with that particular form of art. And then I talk about activities that you can get out and do with your family, friends, community, and individual projects that you can try out if you are interested in kind of getting into that specific type of art. So we've done like embroidery, paper mache, stuff like that. And last July, I just did a kind of text-based, just a post about things. I didn't record it for the podcast, but that was all Christmas in July, which is applicable to today because our Snart theme for November is just Christmas. I am Christmas crazy. If you have followed me for any amount of time anywhere, I guess not recently on Instagram because I haven't posted as much, but I love Christmas. I love the season. I love a kitschy Christmas aesthetic. It is. I live for it. Like I get so much joy during the holidays, and I am relentless about the holidays to my poor family. We have 2 trees. I am about to get out all the decorations. I'm so excited. Anyway, the Christmas in July episode is really great, and I'm going to reference it a few times because there are a couple of things I mentioned from it in this list of things to do. But this is a more broad, it's not like oil painting. Here are some oil painters, and here are some subjects that you can paint, and here are some techniques that you can do. This is Christmas, so it's much more crafty this month, which is up my alley. So let's just get into it and see what happens. All right, before we get into the list of artists that I have picked out for you, I just want to remind you really quick that I am on Substack, and I have a really great newsletter that's really fun that I put out every Friday. And then I'm starting a new schedule where I do articles on Monday, like paid articles. I've been calling them Yap sessions just to myself. Love it. You can get a portion of it for free, and then the rest is paid. And then on Wednesdays, I'm going to be doing like a vlog or podcast. So those can all be found on Substack. And the vlogs are also all on YouTube if you'd rather do that. So just throwing that out there. Okay, let's get to the artist. So number one, queen of kitschy Christmas, is our own Jennifer Perkins. She is one of my actual real life friends, which is really cool. Hi, Jen. I love you. I miss you. And if you love a kitschy, crafty Christmas, she is the only inspiration that you need. I have underneath so many links below. It is just an explosion of links, but I have links to her Substack with her newsletter that's amazing called Glue Gun Gazette. Are you kidding me? It's so good. Her blog, like her actual website, I have links to her Christmas section. You can spend all day in there and have so many ideas of stuff to do. She's got her shop, which is called the Huntress Gatherer. So cute. She's got a handful of Christmas things in there and all kinds of like cute, kitschy stuff. This woman can rock a flea market like nobody else. Oh my gosh. And I also have her Instagram. If you want to be inspired at Christmas time for like amazing, kitschy, vintage stuff, just go hang out with her. She's amazing. She does a ton of events around Austin too. So she will have like, you can come and make crafts with her at Christmas time. And I'm so jealous to the folks that get to go because it's just amazing. She's the best. Check out Jennifer Perkins if you love a kitschy Christmas. Number two is The Crafted Life, another one of my real life friends. I'm telling you, my artist friends. This title is so right because I have so many artist friends and it just makes my life better. But Rachel is incredible at making like super simple crafts that make a really big impact. So everything is very easy to make and very colorful and fun. So it is like just the dopamine decor that you need in your life. So I've got a link to her blog, her Instagram, her newsletter as well. And she has a book called The Colorful Living. She has two books, but she's got a new book out. And it's so good because there's so much like color theory in there. And she helps you work through palettes and how to decide what to do with your house and like how to wear it. And it's a brilliant book all about color. She's all about bringing color into your life. And she's just incredible and I love it. And the blog link I have down below is for her holiday crafts. You can see all of her previous Christmas crafts and things, and it's all so easy to do and so many things you can do in like one sitting. It's fantastic. So if you want something simple and very colorful for your Christmas, she's your gal. Okay, number three, I follow her on Instagram. It's called Perkins on Parkway. Her name is Crystal, and she doesn't have a ton of Christmas stuff on her website. I have a link to her blog too down below, but there are a couple of crafts that she's got that I'm obsessed with. I'll talk about those later. I don't want to get too distracted, but her Instagram is really fun if you like home decor and renovation kind of stuff. And she had a few really cool Christmas DIYs that I will be talking about later. And I believe I definitely talked about Molly Johansson in the embroidery Snart as well. I think Snart is so fun. But she also does a lot of specific Christmas things. She'll do sew-alongs with felt ornaments that you embroider. And they're just brilliant. Everything she does, her style is so cute. And you can just follow the patterns. You can do your own thing. She has a partnership with Benzie Felt. So any kind of felt you need, that place is amazing. So check out Molly for other Christmas things. I've got her blog, her Instagram, her YouTube is really great for following along with projects and seeing how to do them. And she has an Etsy with a ton of embroidery patterns and cross stitch patterns and all kinds of cute stuff in there too. So those are my artists for Christmas this year. They're all so great. Their vibes are very different, but I feel like if you are into the stuff that I'm into, you are gonna like all of them. Okay, now it's time to talk about books. 4 books. I am not gonna list anything new this time. I have a link to my Christmas in July post, and I looked up a bunch of books for that, and I think I found some really good ones, and I didn't know of anything new, and I felt like it was just kind of repeating myself. So check out the Christmas in July post that I did. And my number one top tip for Christmas craft books is to just go to the thrift store. Find a vintage Christmas craft book. Oh, it's all going to be gold in there. And there's probably going to be some really weird stuff that's going to be hilarious to see. And you'll probably want to make it, and it'll be great. And I want you to show me it. But go thrift a Christmas craft book. You will not be disappointed. All right, let's talk about activities. Activities are things that you can go out and do in your community or bring the community to you and do something really fun at home. So I just found out about this. Apparently in Saline, I think that's how you say it, Saline, Michigan, because it's spelled saline, and my Texas self just wants to call it saline. But Saline, Michigan, they have a cocoa crawl. Like, they're cute downtown, and you go to all these little shops and you get, all the different little cocoa at these places and get little treats and walk around and buy Christmas gifts. And it sounds like the cutest thing I've ever heard. And I went to Google it, and apparently there are lots of them. Like, lots of towns do this. Have you ever heard of this? And why hasn't anyone told me about this? I love hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate and like super cute Hallmark movie Christmas small town things. And this sounds perfect. I love a cocoa crawl and I want to do it so bad. So take your family and go drink a bunch of hot chocolate. Now, also, one of the things that we always did at Christmas time was neighborhood like Christmas light drives. So in Austin, we had Trail of Lights and we had Peppermint Parkway. So Trail of Lights was at Zilker Park. It always is at Zilker Park. It still is there. But it's so kitschy and so fun, and parking can take forever. We would always get like the early passes so we could go an hour early just so there was a little bit less traffic. But you just walk around the park and they have all these amazing, ridiculous light setups that you walk through, and there's a really great grilled cheese truck that I always look forward to. And you can get your hot cocoa again and just walk around and have a good time. And they have like books there, HEB's there, of course, and it's just a good time. And we would also go to the Peppermint Parkway, which was at the Circuit of the Americas. That took me a couple of takes to get right, which is their F1 track. So you could go and drive, and they would have lights that you could drive through. And then if you paid extra money, you could go drive on the actual F1 track. And we did that the last year we were in Austin, and they were like, don't go more than 35 miles an hour. And everyone was like, haha, zooming around in my like SUV. It was so exciting. It was really fun. But when I was growing up, we did not have very much. And so my exciting Christmas lights thing was to just go to the like fancy neighborhoods. We would just drive around and look at the lights. And I feel like there's usually like one street in every town where all the neighbors are on it. And there is something wild. And there are a couple of those in Austin too, and in our surrounding areas. But go out and look at lights. It's so fun. And like, kids don't really care if you spend a ton of money to go to like a big old light place versus like just walking around and looking at lights in the neighborhood. Like, at least in the 90s, in the 80s, we didn't. I loved it. I would just sit in the back and look at everything. And now people go crazy. So anyway, not a super original idea, but just take some time to go do it. It's so fun. Now, since we are talking about Christmas crafts and Christmas crafting, I think you should hang around and listen to the project ideas that I have, and then have a holiday craft night with your friends or family or both. So I'm pretty sure like all of the projects I have listed are things that you can do with a bunch of people. Like, people can bring supplies, everyone can gather supplies, people can be in charge of different things and bring it all to one spot and just make something fun. And then you could even do like a trade. with each other. Like if you're making ornaments, make it for somebody else, and like know you're making it for somebody else. And I think that would be so fun just to have a big old craft night with your friends. You can put on cheesy music, you can put on a Christmas movie, just make it a night, get it on the calendar, do it now. That's why we're talking about it in November. I know a lot of people don't want to do anything for Christmas before Thanksgiving, and you do you. But I like having 2 months of the holiday. So holiday craft night is probably going to be in November. Because also making crafts can take a while, so you want to get a head start. You know what I mean? I mean, I still have all of my holiday coasters that I still need to sew up, so I should have added that to the project list. Anyway, my last idea for an activity to go out and do. This can be kind of expensive as you want it to be, depending on what you pick, but a ceramics painting studio. Y'all, I love a ceramics, like paint your own thing studio. It is so fun. And a lot of them will have like ornaments. You can do mugs, you can do decorative plates. There is one near me, friend, that has a like 14-inch tall Christmas tree that you can paint, like the light up Christmas tree. And every time I see it, it's like $200. And I'm like, I just want to do it so bad. I want to paint like a speckledy pink Christmas tree of my own. And I think it would be so fun. But it's so expensive. But it's so expensive. And rightfully so. I mean, it's huge. There's a lot of ways that could go wrong. But still, you can do ornaments, you can do figurines. You never know what your shop is going to have. And I bet it's different if you have like multiple ones around you. You can pick different things. So I think that would be a super fun thing to do as a family, a super fun thing to do for gifts for family and friends. Go paint some ceramic and have a good time. Okay, so now let's talk about some actual projects that you can make. Again, these are not going to be like the most original ideas because it's Christmas crafts. I mean, how wild are you gonna get at Christmas? But I do think my first one is really exciting. So I love the idea, and I saw this on Perkins on Parkway, a Christmas heirloom dollhouse. Kidding me? So this can be like big and involved, like the Perkins on Parkway. I have links down below. Or you could do one, I saw someone on Instagram, again linked. Anything I mention, just know that there is a place where you can see it down below. But someone used an IKEA dollhouse, the one you can just like hang up on the wall or use whatever. They made a like hinged front to it that looked like a gingerbread house, and then they decorated the inside like Christmas. So good. Or if you want to go crazy, go nuts, you can do something like Elsie from A Beautiful Mess did a few years ago and make a house like Mary Poppins. Do you remember that dollhouse of Mary Poppins that was so big? But they figured out how to do it, and they have all the measurements and everything you need on their blog for how to make a big old dollhouse that opens up. So cool. But how fun would it be to have like seasonal rooms in that? You know, so you could decorate. This is my Christmas room. This is my Halloween room. Actually, everything would just kind of be Christmas and Halloween for me. But it would also be fun to have little decorations that come out, you know, once a year, and you can decorate your dollhouse for Christmas, and then it looks like regular the rest of the time, like your actual house. I'm explaining Christmas decorations now. Anyway, I think it'd be really cute. If you love a miniature, if you have kids that love a dollhouse, I think it'd be really fun. Christmas dollhouse, it can be teeny tiny little, like use all the teeny tiny little bottle brush trees. I think it's precious and I want to do it. Okay, number 2, and this is groundbreaking, y'all, is a Christmas wreath. I know, I just blew your mind. Now, I did see, as I was poking around looking for that dollhouse on the A Beautiful Mess website, they have so much good stuff, but they made an enormous wreath out of pool noodles. Sign me up. I love something comically large, comically small. I'm on board. So I would love to make an enormous Christmas wreath with pool noodles. And there's also like vintage ornament wreaths. That's another thing that I've really wanted to do. And I mentioned that in Christmas in July too, but I found another like a different tutorial that looked really good. So I'm sharing that one down below. And it looks so fun. I want to do it. But vintage ornaments can be expensive. Like you really got to find the right flea market, antique mall, to find some cheap vintage ornaments. Because I was looking on eBay trying to make one during the summer. And I was like, even during the off season, it's a lot. So if you can find some in a thrift store, it doesn't even have to be vintage ornaments. It can be anything that you want, and just glue it on a tinsel wreath. It'll be so cute. Anyway, there's great tutorials linked. The last kind of wreath idea that I saw, this is one that I shared in the Christmas in July, but I'm not over it yet. It's so cute. Again, I have the comically large pool noodle wreath, and then this one is a link to like, it doesn't show instructions. I'm gonna have to do it and like find this stuff for you because I have not been able to stop thinking about it. But it's a teeny tiny wreath. It's like, I don't know, maybe 3 inches in diameter. And then they put these teeny little baubles inside, and then they have like a little mini nutcracker or a little deer or something, and like just some little snow and stuff. It's so cute. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And I have to source all of these tiny little things so I can make a super cute, teeny tiny wreath. And that can turn into ornaments. That can turn into like, I don't know, little wall hangings. Like maybe you could use some fishing line and do a bunch of them together and like hang them, do. That makes sense on a podcast. Anyway, hang them on the wall. You know what I mean. Anything you could possibly, what if you put a bunch of tiny wreaths on a giant wreath? And then it would just be ridiculous. I need to stop. Okay, next thing is ornaments. Again, I'm blowing your mind with Christmas projects, but let me talk to you about the ornaments that I love. I am obsessed with the push pin ornaments. These like mid-century, you use sequins, you use dress pins, and you make the tackiest, most beautiful, most kitschy ornaments in the world. I got a bunch of satin ornaments from at home, and they actually still have the pink ones. They were from the Oh Joy collection last year, and I got 2 shades of pink and a teal they had. And they only have like the light pink left, but that one's a great base. And I used that as a base for these bauble ornaments that I made, where you can wrap ribbon around it. You can stick it with colorful pins and sequins, and it's so cute. But I found a really fantastic tutorial on TikTok about how to make bauble ornaments, and it's about 12 minutes long. It's very in-depth. It's very good. She tells you if you don't have those kind of satin ornaments as your base, she talks about the right kind of foam balls to get and the kind of pins to get, and she really takes you through how to do it. And she has lots of different types. It's a really great video. Definitely watch it if you want to make one of these ornaments. And I mentioned Molly Johansson before, and she has a lot of felt ornaments and patterns for felt ornaments that are really great. She does a sew-along sometimes. I think she's doing one this year too. And it's like this kind of stitching club where you can do it all together. And they are so cute. Patterns are precious. So if you like a little small round felt ornament, they'd be great for gifts. They look really quick to work up, and I just think they're fantastic. And then last year, another thing that I made that I was absolutely obsessed with, and you can use the foam balls that you get for your kitschy pushpin ornaments for this too, but it's a no-sew quilted ornament. And I have a video linked, which is the exact video that I used last year. And I made a bunch of these for gifts. They take longer than expected. Maybe it's just me, because everything I do takes longer than expected. But they're relatively easy to put together. They're just a teeny bit time consuming, but it's really relaxing. There's a lot of, just very simple fabric cutting, very simple folding, and you can pick out the cutest fabrics for it. You'll love it. The tutorial is adorable. Like, you could just follow the tutorial with the exact fabrics, and it's so cute. It's like this cute pink and red kitschy stuff. Anyway, very cute. I would recommend, though, if you make the no-sew quilted ornaments, to get stuff with really teeny and kind of tight patterns, and then stuff that's really subtle too. So you can have the right kind of contrast and still see the pattern of the fabric on the thing. Because if you have something with a pattern that's too big, or the illustrations on the pattern are too far apart, you're not going to get to see a lot of the actual fabric pattern when you fold it down and put it on the ornament. So that's just something to think about. But I love these ornaments. These are things that I will absolutely be making again this year, and I'm really excited to do it. And friends will also be getting those for presents too. Okay, the last project I have, this is the last little bit. Thank you for listening this far. Is a memory chain. So a lot of people will make a paper chain, construction paper, red, green, staples, done. Looks great. Fantastic activity for your kids, and love it. But the way my family did it when I was young, and still now, is we would write on one of the strips of paper a favorite Christmas memory, or like a favorite memory from the year. And we would put that on the piece of construction paper. And then while we were putting the chain together, we could read them out loud and talk about all the favorite things. And I love that. It comes from my mom's side of the family. And I think it's so, so fun to do. So we do that every year. But I also found some other projects that are kind of different variations of the regular paper chain. So I found a paper chain wall art. How cute would that be to like get different colors, and you can still write your memories on it on the paper chain, but then they hang down in rows attached to a dowel, and then you could put that up and like hang it up that way. Maybe if you don't have anywhere to string the chain, could be fun. You could even work out different colors and make it look like a heart in the middle, or a Christmas tree, or a wreath or something. It'll make more sense when you see the visual. On the podcast, this is not very helpful. But wall art out of paper chains, I think, is a cute idea. Now, I mentioned before, Arkansas Parkway had a felt chain that she made. And I love that one because I believe the strips are 2.5 by 8 inches. So they're a lot fatter than a regular paper chain. And by doing it that way, you can put them closer together, and it just gives a completely different look to the chain. It just makes it look a lot more compact and a lot more wide. So I think that is a really fun way. And using felt is great. You're not going to have any seams going all over the place, and you can just hot glue it, and that's great. So you could even do like the big fatty chain like that, and have it hanging next to another like more traditional chain made out of felt if you want. I thought it was really fun. And then the last paper chain project I found, I wanted to look for a fabric paper chain, because if you're here, you probably like to sew or embroider or craft with fabric. Now, this is a no-sew project, but I found a really great DIY on YouTube for how to use a specific kind of like fusible interfacing, basically, to like glue two pieces of fabric together. And then you just use pinking shears or a pinking rotary cutter so you don't get frayed edges. And then you just hot glue those together. The interfacing that she found was like really thick, and the links really held their shape. It looks so fun. So I am absolutely like going to be doing that this holiday season. I am so excited. It's a great way to get rid of scraps too. And it's a great thing to do if you want to thrift fabric, or even if you see like tacky Christmas shirts or something like that at the thrift store, you can cut those up and use those as fabric for your chains. Like there are so many ways to make all of these things thrifty and affordable too, which I really love. But yeah, those are the project ideas that I had. If you have some things that you do every year, can you please let me know on Substack in the comments, because I love learning about different Christmas traditions and what other people like to make every year. And I feel like I always add something new that I'm like, well, this is a new tradition, so we got to do this now. Maybe it's good that my holidays are like 2 months now because I have to cram everything in. But yeah, please let me know in the comments what you love doing during the holidays. Let me know if you're going to do any of these things. And like, I want to see them. If you post about anything on Instagram, like, please tag me. I want to see what you make. Like, I love a kitschy, crafty, fun Christmas. And I'm really excited to get started on mine. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate you taking the time. Don't forget to find me on Substack, on Instagram. I have like 800 links for you in the actual Substack post. And this will also be up on YouTube. So yeah, find me there. Come say hello. Thank you for listening. And thank you for a year of the podcast, even though it wasn't like fully a year. It's still a year and it's exciting. So I will talk to you later. Thank you for listening. Okay, bye.